Well, prepare yourselves because though I have not actually reviewed an actual movie focused on something from the Bible and what have you, because I know there have been numerous films out there like The Ten Commandments or, I don't know, let's see, The Robe or The Greatest Story Ever Told. But there was one that I have seen a few times, and that'd be The Prince of Egypt. Here's my review of the second film from DreamWorks Animation. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and I'm going to say happy holidays to you. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1998 animated musical drama flick The Prince of Egypt, released by DreamWorks. This is DreamWorks' first feature film to be traditionally animated, but it's their second film overall. Though it was originally intended to be their first one, but however, they released the computer animated Ants before that. Anyway, it's an adaptation of the Book of Exodus and follows the life of Moses from being a prince of Egypt to a prophet of the Lord, chosen by God to carry out his ultimate destiny of leading the Jews out of Egypt. The film was directed by Brenda Chapman, Steve Higner, and Simon Wells. Chapman and Higner, well, this was their feature directorial debuts, with a screenplay by Philip Lazebnik, featuring songs written by Stephen Schwartz and a score composed by Hans Zimmer, featuring an all-star cast of voices, including Val Kilmer, who does a dual role, Ray Fiennes, Michelle Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Goldblum, Danny Glover, Patrick Stewart, Dame Helen Mirren, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. The film was released in December of 1998, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the film out of the way, because even though its anniversary isn't until next year, but I knew I wanted to try and revisit this film. Anyway, this would be a big hit for DreamWorks. Now, even though Jeffrey Katzenberg had frequently suggested an anime adaptation of 1956's The Ten Commandments while working for Disney, but he decided to put the idea into production after co-founding DreamWorks. So, DreamWorks employee artists who had formerly worked for Disney's feature animation and Steven Spielberg's Amblimation. So, they did pretty well with it, and it got good reviews. So, let's go ahead and get into our story. In ancient Egypt, the enslaved Hebrew people prayed to God for deliverance. Pharaoh Seti, fearing that the growing numbers of Hebrew slaves could lead to rebellion, orders a mass infanticide, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it, of all newborn Hebrew boys. Yocheved and her two children, Miriam and Aaron, rush to the Nile River where she places her newborn son in a basket on the water. After bidding him farewell with a final lullaby, Miriam follows the basket as it sails to the Pharaoh's palace and witnesses her baby brother safely adopted by Seti's wife, Queen Tuya, who names him Moses. Before leaving, Miriam prays that Moses will set their people free. Years later, Moses, along with his adoptive brother Ramses, heir to the throne of Egypt, are scolded by Seti for accidentally destroying a temple. After Moses suggests that Ramses be given the opportunity to prove his responsibility, Seti names Ramses Prince Regent and gives him authority over Egypt's temples. High priest Hotep and Hoi offer Ramses a beautiful but rebellious young Midianite woman, Zipporah. During the banquet, Moses humiliates Zipporah by letting her fall into a pond after she refuses to submit, appeasing the crowd but disappointing Tuya. Ramses, uninterested in her stubbornness, gives Zipporah to Moses instead and appoints him royal chief architect. Later that night, Moses follows Zipporah as she escapes from the palace and runs into the now adult Miriam and Aaron, whom he does not recognize. He refuses to believe their claims and opts to have them arrested until Miriam sings their mother's lullaby, triggering Moses' memory. He flees in denial, but learns the truth of Seti's genocide from a nightmare, then from Seti himself, who disturbs Moses by claiming the Hebrews were only slaves. The next day, Moses tries to stop an Egyptian slave driver from flogging an elderly Hebrew slave, accidentally pushing the guard to his death. Horrified and ashamed, Moses flees into the desert in exile, despite Ramses' pleas that he stay. Arriving in an oasis, Moses defends three young girls from brigands, only to find out their older sister is Zipporah. Moses is welcomed by Jethro, Zipporah's father, and the high priest of Midian. Moses becomes a shepherd, falls in love with Zipporah, marries her, and grows adjusted to life in Midian. Moses discovers a burning bush through which God tells him to return to Egypt and guide the Hebrews to freedom. God bestows Moses' shepherding staff with his power and promises that he will tell Moses what to say. Zipporah decides to join him. Arriving in Egypt, Moses is happily greeted by Ramses, who is now Pharaoh with a wife and son. Moses requests the Hebrews release and transforms his staff into a snake to demonstrate God's power. Hotep and Hui deceptively recreate this transformation, only to have their snakes eaten by Moses. Not wanting to have his actions cause the empire's collapse and feeling betrayed by Moses' motives for his return, Ramses doubles the Hebrews' workload. Now, for the ending, as always, you know the procedure. You go to the description box below, fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, as I count down, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. The Hebrews, including Aaron, blame Moses for their increased workload, disheartening Moses. However, Miriam inspires Moses to persevere. Moses casts the first of the 10 plagues of Egypt, but Ramses remains unmoved. Moses inflicts 8 more plagues onto Egypt, but still Ramses refuses to relent, vowing never to release the Hebrews. Disheartened, Moses prepares the Hebrews for the 10th plague, instructing them to sacrifice a lamb and mark their doorposts with its blood. That night, the final plague kills all the firstborn children of Egypt, including Ramses' son, while sparing those of the Hebrews. Grief-stricken, Ramses gives the Hebrews permission to leave. After leaving the palace, Moses collapses in grief. The following morning, Moses, Miriam, Aaron, and Zipporah lead the Hebrews out of Egypt. At the Red Sea, the Hebrews discover that a vengeful Ramses is pursuing them with his army, intent on killing them. However, a pillar of fire blocks the army's way, while Moses uses his staff to part the sea. The Hebrews cross the open sea bottom, the fire vanishes, and the army gives chase. But the sea closes over and drowns the Egyptian soldiers, sparing Ramses alone. And Moses sadly bids his brother farewell and leads the Hebrews to Mount Sinai, where he receives the 10 Commandments. End of story. So, what did I think of The Prince of Egypt? Well, it's been a long time since I last saw the film. I will say it's very good and what have you. This is a very good film. And again, it got a lot of praise and what have you for its visuals, songs, and voice acting. Now, its music was so incredible. Of course, I gotta give credit to Hans Zimmer for its score and Stephen Schwartz for writing the songs. Now then, let's see. There were 3 soundtrack albums released simultaneously for this, each of them aimed towards a different target audience. While the other 2 accompanying records, the country-themed Nashville soundtrack and the gospel-based inspirational soundtrack, function as film tributes. Now, the official soundtrack contained the actual songs from the film, which included the songs that were either voiced over by professional singers, such as the Salisbury Cathedral Choir, or some of the film's voice actors. Various tracks by contemporary artists, most notably R&B stars like Casey and JoJo and Boys to Men, were added. Let's and of course the ever popular "When You Believe," which you hear at the end credits, done by the late great Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, which would later win the Best Original Song at the Academy Awards, making it the first animated film independently outside of Disney and Pixar, as well as the first DreamWorks animation film to receive 2 nominations and win one at the Academy Awards. Of course, Shrek and Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit would follow. The success of this went on to give us a direct-to-video prequel, Joseph, King of Dreams, which I haven't seen, which came out 2 years later, and a stage musical adaptation, which opened in London's West End in 2020. So I've got to give DreamWorks credit. I liked the visuals and the songs we heard. It was just so incredible. Now, of course, the reviews were good. Rotten Tomatoes says that the stunning visuals of the film and first-rate voice cast more than compensate for the fact that it's better crafted than it is emotionally involving. Too true. I think it was just so incredible. Now, our voice acting cast includes Val Kilmer voicing Moses. He also provides God's voice, but of course, that one was uncredited. Voicing Ramses is Ray Fiennes. Michelle Pfeiffer voices Zipporah, who did good. Sandra Bullock voices Miriam. Now, I'm only going to give you the main big voice actors, not the ones who play the younger versions of some of these. Jeff Goldblum voices Aaron. Danny Glover voices Jethro. Sir Patrick Stewart voices Seti. And Dame Helen Mirren plays Tuya. Steve Martin voices Hotep. And Martin Short as Hui. So anyway, yeah, a great voice acting cast as well. So anyway, I have revisited The Prince of Egypt recently on Peacock, and I'd say it's very good after revisiting it. So with a great cast of characters, great voice acting, a great score, and great songs, especially When You Believe, which of course has become a factual holiday tune, as it was done by the a cappella group, covered by the a cappella group known as Pentatonics. Excuse me. And of course, great visuals and the story and what have you. So overall, would I recommend The Prince of Egypt? The answer is yes. I'm keeping that clean. I think this is worth looking into. I think you'll like it, and I think your kids will like it too. Just as long as they're not bothered by, well, the intensity you get to seeing this and what have you. But I think though, as long as you're watching with the parents, then good. So anyway, what did you think of The Prince of Egypt? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Now, I am going to take a little bit of a break and what have you, but I will be back possibly after Christmas, as I'll have another video coming up for you soon. So, as you'll be ready for some spoiler-free reviews coming up on Disney's recent anime feature Strange World, as well as the new Knives Out spin-off called Glass Onion, and maybe a few others. Stay tuned for those. But anyway, if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other traditionally animated films from DreamWorks, and they're more underrated than even The Prince of Egypt. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of The Road to El Dorado. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. Or if you would like something else from DreamWorks Animation, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, the third and final chapter of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. In the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.